Yes, it's Draw It Back again with the same shirt, but a different topic. And here's the thing: if you don't know who I am, basically I helped a lot of artists how they artwork online. Had the fastest growing program for visual artists in all of 2023, which is cool. And the best part is we did it by keeping things super simple. I don't do any like speaking gigs, magazines, any of that stuff. Just want to provide great videos, at least what I would think would be great, in hopes that we end up working together someday. Hopefully, you get so much value from this video that at some point you're like, you know what, that guy cool. I want to work with him. Then we work together. But in this video, I realized just after talking to thousands of visual artists, it seems like the real passionate visual artists all just want to create art full time. So in this video, I'm gonna break down my rule of thumb that I teach my current visual artists on how to become full-time visual artists. So I'm gonna talk about like the overall process and how you need to view your life journey or your career journey if you want to make that transition, and more importantly, make it a smooth transition. I'm not gonna talk about like selling your art and things like that and no strategy to like make sales. You'll find that on this YouTube channel. More importantly, I'm gonna talk about the strategy to comfortably and confidently leave that full-time job and create visual art as a career if you're extremely serious about actually doing that. So with that being said, we're gonna just jump straight into this video. So first thing first, if you want to be a full-time visual artist, you need to identify what that goal will look like as a full-time visual artist. So in this video, you probably want to grab pen and paper if you're currently painting and take a few notes. So first, you need to identify exactly how much are you making from your actual job. So get a piece of paper and write down how much you make. For this example, I'm gonna say I make $5,000 per month. That means every month from my job I make $5,000. Now, keep in mind if you make $5,000 from your job, let's just say you have taxes. Let's say you taking home about $3,500 per month, right? Now that we identify that, but you should actually sit down and break this down, figure out these numbers for yourself. The rule of thumb that I give all visual artists is I say you should be making at least $2,000 per month more than what you make from your job. So my rule of thumb at that point is to be full time as a visual artist. I need to be making $7,000 per month as a visual artist. Once again, that's $7,000 per month because I gave myself that $2,000 margin, and I'm gonna talk about how we're gonna get to that $7,000. So let's get into that. Let's say you work the average job. The average job is usually about 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, which is 40 hours a week. So if I'm working 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, let's just say 5 days out the week, what you have to do, there's no way around this. Like every visual artist wants the easy peasy process and they all want to be successful. Like what kills me is the artists that say I want to make $120,000 a year, but I only want to work about 2 hours a day max. It won't happen. That's just not how this world works. And if anybody tell you it can happen, they're just feeding you something to try and sell you something. So here's what you really need to do. If you want to be full time, you first need to look at your art career as a full time career before you ever leave your job. What I mean by this is you go to work, then you get off from work, and you go back to work. I'm going to say it again. Work, off, work. All in the same day. If you can, I will allocate as much time as possible to my art career. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple things. If you really, really want to be successful, allocating time to your art career means you actually focusing on becoming full-time. Here's the difference. Creating more artwork isn't you focusing on becoming full-time. Focusing on becoming full-time is you focusing on how to bring in the income from creating artwork to become full-time. So that's marketing strategies, sales strategies. Let's just assume you had this part figured out, right? Let's just say you got into my program and you know exactly what you need to do to become full-time. Now you have the marketing and sales strategy in place. I truly believe you need to be investing about an extra 2 to 3 hours a day. So now put this into perspective. You're now working a total of about 10 to 11 hours per day. That's a lot of hours per day. So here's the trade-off. You have to ask yourself this. And I have some artists that tell me, I don't know if I can give an extra 2 to 3 hours per day. That's fine. You just don't want to succeed. At least succeed doing what you're passionate about. Excuse me. We know that was going to come at some point. So I'm happy it came earlier than later in this video. Okay. Here's the thing. I tell artists this. If you want to succeed, it's going to come at a sacrifice. That's just what it is. And by the way, 2 hours a day be however you want to spend it. You could not work on your on the marketing and selling of your work during the weekend. You're going to put in 10 hours over the weekend. However you choose to do that, that's totally up to you. But you need to be putting about 2 to 3 hours per day on average, every single day, on marketing and sales. Now, what's going to happen is as you put in this time, right, you're going to eventually start to see some outcome. Actually, let me back up. Who's talking about sacrifice? So before we talk about seeing outcome, here's the thing. We're talking about 2 hours a day. That's 10 hours a week. You have to make a decision as an individual. I can't make this decision for you. The reality is the decision goes like this. Do you want to put in 10 hours a day? No. That's all of us. Nobody want to put in, 10, 12 hours, however. Do you want to put that time in a day? No. Do you not want to put in these extra 2 to 3 hours a day on top of work less than working at your full job? So this is what you weighing. Like, do you value working at your full job for the rest of your life more than you put in overtime to become a full-time visual artist? That's the trade. It's that simple. For me, it was obvious. I was working 12-hour days in hopes that I could get to a point in my life where I don't have to go clock in at a freaking job I hate. Luckily, I did that for about 2 years, 3 years. And now I do what I love full time. Like my entire day from sunrise to sunset is doing exactly what I want to do. It just, for me, I actually want to work. I love doing what I do. I work about 10, 12 hours a day still. But at least I'm working 10 to 12 hours a day doing what I enjoy, right? So the key thing is you have to sacrifice. That's first. So, and if you're not willing to sacrifice, then you might as well like just exit off this video because like I don't know what to tell you. There's no like easy peasy process to become successful. But here's what I'm saying. Let's say you decide like, Gerard, that's me. I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to invest extra 2 additional hours on top of working to my marketing and selling, not including painting. Then at that point, I would say a 6-month goal. You do this for 6 months and you could potentially change the next 10 years of your life. That simple. But here's what you're going to do. Let's say you have that proven process. What's going to happen is you're going to start making sales. As you start making sales, don't spend a single dollar. Like however you was funding your art career before, however you was making money to pay your bills, like stick to that. And here's the key. Every dollar you make from your art sales, it goes into a savings. Like this is money that I just absolutely don't touch. What I like to say is you cannot spend any money out of this savings until you become a full-time visual artist. So that means up until a full-time visual artist, the money I make from selling my work while working at my job goes into a savings. Now, here's the thing. This way it gets good. While you also work your job, you're now really starting to build that savings up until you become full-time. Now, you may be thinking, but Gerard, when do I become full-time? Here's my rule of thumb. I said to become full-time, you need to at least match your job income for a consecutive 3 months. That means 3 months in a row, you have to make a minimum of $5,000 or more per month. Here where it gets tricky. What I like to say is if that get broken, let's say you have 2 $5,000 months, and then the third month is 4,000, you have to start all over because it have to be consecutive. Why I say consecutive? I say you want this consecutive because it gives proof of concept. Proof of concept basically means I understand that if I continue to apply this strategy, I can expect this result. That's simple. And in order to have a proven strategy in place, you need to see a consistent result for a minimum of 90 days, which would be 3 months. Here's where it gets good though. Worst case, if it gets broken, let's say month 3 you don't hit that 5,000, so you have to start all over. You still building your savings anyway. So now that's 10 grand in your savings. Well, technically, if you have 5 the first month, 5 the second month, and then 4 the third, that's 14 grand you have in your savings. At this point, you have a business, so you got to pay taxes. Let's just say 8. So you have 8 grand in your savings. You have to start this all over again. And if you do this all over again, that's 5, 5, and 5 again. Now you have 15 grand on top of the 8, which is, what is that? 23? That'll be $23,000 you have saved. So now what happens is you're building this extremely comfortable savings while building proof of concept from what you're applying. So I just say it took me, I set a 6-month goal, didn't hit it. It took me 9 months. But in those 9 months, while all your friends are going partying and going out and say you're working too hard and you need to take a break and you should step back, you should come hang, you should come play, why they telling you all this stuff? In those 9 months, let's say you bring in a total of like 32 additional thousand, but then those last 3 months was 5,000 in a row. You'll be going full time as a visual artist with 32,000 in your savings plus proof of concept, which means that you know what you do is working. Now, me, I'm totally fine with sacrificing 9 months to change my entire life moving forward. I'm more than Gerard, I'll sacrifice 5 years. I would do this for 5 years. Now I've done that. I would do it for 10 years. I would do it for 10 years. At 26, I'll be 36. If I could spend from 36 to 72, which is another 36 years, living life on my own terms, I would sacrifice those 10 years. That's just me. I'm currently sacrificing those 10 years. Literally, I became full-time, doing what I love, and I'm still working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But that's going to be a point in time where I just don't have to work at all. But I'm already living my dream because the work I'm doing is what I truly enjoy. People tell me all the time, like, hey, you should take a break. You should relax. You should not work so hard. Who said I'm working hard? I'm having fun. Like, this is what I enjoy. That's like you want to paint all day and then somebody tell you, you should take a break. You shouldn't paint all day. Take a couple hours off. You should relax. But you're like, this is relaxing to me. This is where my heart lies. Like, this is what I find enjoyable, fulfilling, right? This is fulfillment for me. You see, the problem is people is not willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for overall fulfillment in life. That's just the reality. I talked to an artist today, and this artist told me, hey, Gerard, I want to be full-time. I say, cool. I want to make money selling my artwork. She's a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, cool. What's your goal? 4,000 per month. I said you have to invest about anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day if you want to make 4,000 per month. Not a big goal, super achievable with dozens of artists doing it. But I noticed those artists are putting this amount of time. She said, "Oh, that's 3 to 4 hours. That's 2 to 3 hours a day taken away from me creating. I don't know if I want to invest that. Cool. Don't. You're just not going to have the outcome that you want. You just won't ever actually make a living from your art, right? But some people just not like that driven behind. Like, you have to have that drive if you really, really, really want to change your life. Like, people are going to tell you all this great stuff, but in reality, success comes at a sacrifice. That's the reality. And I'm going to tell you here. And I went through that same sacrifice. Every single person, if you see a person with a big home, nice cars, if they wasn't born into wealth, they sacrificed. It's that simple. And they're still sacrificing to maintain that life. So if you're willing to sacrifice, this is the process I will have you follow. And it worked. You do that. You freaking work your ass off and work overtime for 6 months and maybe even 12 months. But that 12 month could change the next 10, 15 years of your life. Take it from me. So that's what I would do if you want to be a full-time artist and you're currently working a 9 to 5 job. Watch this video. Peace.